collateral that I will hold in order to do business with you. They break open your house one time, they rape your mother, they rape your father, they rape your brother, they rape your sister, they rape your auntie, they rape your auntie, they rob you of all your jewels, they take your car if you have a license firearm, they take your firearm, and they go on with that. And those that are supposed to vote for this bill, for the next year, you all are pleased and it's okay with that. What are they smoking? You cannot come and tell Saieed, well, hear this now. Saieed, mass mandatory, here we go. It come to an end. And then you come and tell me, here we go on side. If you go to the supermarket, the grocery, or the malls, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you go in a pharmacy, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you're traveling, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the transportation hub, you have to wear your mask. If you're going to church side, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the school side, you're wearing your mask. If you go to a barber salon, you go to the theater, you're wearing your mask. Which dum-dum in Trinidad and Tobago will go in a theater and buy a popcorn and a juice and sit down and wear a mask? Thanks! If every councillor go through their constituency, do video clips like this and send it for us, I'm gonna be so happy just to play it on our program on a Wednesday night. You know why I would be happy? I will be filled with joy in my heart. You know why? Because the councillor is getting off their butts and they are actually going and doing some live video shoots. Real Talk took the initiative to find out suppliers of wheat in the world that National Flour Mill could go to. So now Romano is saying the company is not going to raise any price in the near future. Why? Why? Is it because the S-boss and they realize now that, hey, it is in the public domain that we could go right Mexico and buy flour and wheat? We could go right China and buy wheat? I am about change. And thus far, Real Talk is very effective in Trinidad and Tobago, coming towards making changes for the citizens. Public Utility Minister Marvin Gonzalez have urged the population to appreciate and be grateful for the availability of the utilities. This, as Gonzalez recalled, time in his life when he had to fetch water using a bucket from a nearby river. Gonzalez, I want you to understand something. I want you, Mr. Gonzalez, to understand something. You are being paid thousands of dollars by public utility, by the finance ministry, to govern WASA. Come on. To govern WASA, I want you to understand that you ain't going in no office for no free code. You are being paid. Do not tell me that I, Saieed, have to be grateful for the water I get it. Let me tell you something, Gonzalez. Every 4 months, I have to pay $400 and I get water once a bloody month. So don't come on a media briefing and say, Saieed, you have to be contented. You have to be happy. Marvin, the next best thing for you to do is to resign and get the hell out of here.
gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. Remember, every night we encourage you to share our live stream. So as we start our program tonight, viewers, Leader of the Opposition, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, is questioning the alleged inconsistency in the Finance Minister Klongenbert estimates and revenue outlined in the 2024-2025 national budget. During her response in Parliament earlier today, Ms. Prasad Bisesa said Minister Imbert missed the mark and failed to account for job creation, social safety, revenue generation, national security and accountability funds outlined by the Auditor General. Under the theme, A Decade of Debit, Defects, Destabilization, Death and Destruction, the opposition leader stated that the estimated revenue, 54.224 billion, was not adding up. Ms. Prasad Bisesa pointed out that the finance minister failed to say that he had borrowed $107 billion in 9 years from 2015 to the end of fiscal 2023-2024. The opposition leader also accused the government of limiting the allocations for wages increase to 4% previously and now 5%. She said it is a move that facilitated the demission of employees, purchasing power. The budget debate continues on Monday. So Trinidad and Tobago, do you think that the 2024-2025 budget had something in store for you? Feel free to call in 238-6716. Let's hear what you have to say. So thus far, the budget said nothing about creating jobs. The budget said nothing about price dropping. The budget said nothing about schools repairing anyway. Large sums of money being allocated, majority of it going to education, to security, to the new road company. But the thing is, year come, year go, we do not see progress. We do not see progress. Monies are being spent and it's not accounted for. This is something that is happening in Trinidad and Tobago for decades. Nobody in the government wants to give accountability. Nobody in the government is being held responsible. Nobody. For money being spent, it's taxpayers' money. Let me tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. If you all decide to stand up and ask for accountability, let me tell you something. The government of the day have no other choice but to bring accountability to you all, you know. They have no other choice but to do it. But we lay back. We have a huge society such as the union. Different union leaders in Trinidad and Tobago. And they all fight for jobs instead of the rights for the citizens. Instead of cheaper food. Instead of better service. They all talk about job. But if a job is not paying enough, if a job is not managing your household, and you have been working for a number of years with no growth, $2.6 billion gone missing and nobody's saying, It's like it just died on right here. That money is your money. Your money. Your school that the kids go to is not repaired. Why? Is the union not going to ask where is all this money spent? $10 million spent on a school in North and no accountability. Nothing to show how the money was spent. What the money purchased. Who were contractors. What they do, what they didn't do. Do we have that type of accountability? No. Contractors fixing road in Trinidad and Tobago. Let me tell you something. Anything you get for your car to roll on, you have to take it and stay quiet. You have to take it and stay quiet. If the road now don't pave and you're like, you see, take it and stay quiet. Because the management for the road division is not going to question the contractor. Quality control is not going to question the contractor. Because he could be out of place. But I think he should be out of a damn job too. Out of a damn job too. Because in the road department, you have to have accountability. $100 million spent. What did we get for the $100 million? A wavy road, an unpainted road, a road that falls apart in a few days. That is what we got for $100 million spent on a road project. Where's quality control? I often say this. Election is coming just now. Next year is an election year. You all going to settle for a little money in an envelope and a jersey? That is what you're going to settle for? So ask yourself, Trinidad and Tobago, come next election, what do you want? What do you need? What change you're looking for? Are you looking for a change in government? Are you looking for a change from your councillor? Are you looking for a different representative for your community? The only thing the community to stand up for is water. That is the only thing community is standing up for these days. Water. Minister of Rural Development and Local Government Faris Al-Rawi have stated that 5% wage offer is not something which is being imposed on the public sector workers. He also welcomed an increase in the minimum wage for public sector workers as announced in the 2024-2025 budget. Al-Rawi welcomed the benefits. This increase will have on workers who fall under his ministry, such as those in the Community-Based Environmental Protection and Enhancement Program, which is CPEP. In his budget presentation, Finance Minister Clongenbert identified CPEP workers among those who will benefit from the minimum wage for the public sector being increased from $20.50 to $22.50 an hour. Listen to this.
We will increase the minimum wage earned by public sector employees from $20.50 an hour to $22.50 an hour, an increase of $2 per hour or 9.8%. This increase will benefit 5,100 workers at MTS, 6,900 workers in CPEP, and 6,200 workers in URP, among other minimum wage workers in the public sector. Particularly for MTS workers, Madam Speaker, such as security guards, it will put as much as $500 per month of additional tax-free income into the pockets of this very hard-working group of workers, depending on the hours worked. Similarly, janitorial staff at MTS, who work shorter hours than security guards, will earn an additional $340 a month. CPEP and URP workers and other minimum wage workers in the public sector will also benefit from this increase in proportion to the hours worked.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, the minister said that for the 10,000 CPEP workers, there was a whole consort of those people that actually are at minimum wage, and therefore the $500 a month extra is a good beneficial relocation of monies. Al-Rawi also stated that 5% increase offer that a CPO will be making is a start of the negotiation for the public sector. He recalled that in 2014 to 2019 period, most trade unions accepted the 4% wage increase offer by the government. Listen to this.
there are a whole cohort of those people that actually are at minimum wage, and therefore the $500 a month extra that may come to is a material and good beneficial reallocation of money. So I'm very happy for that.
Yeah.
The 5% increase offer that the CPO will be making is the start of negotiations for the public sector. So remember, in the period 2014 to 2019 December, there was a 4% that most unions agreed to.
Yeah.
Now the starting offer, what the CPO will engage in negotiations with, the starting offer is 5% on top of the 4% you got already.
Yeah.
Now, viewers, Imbert said the Public Service Association, that is the PSA, the National Union of Government and Federated Workers Trade Union, that's NUGFW, refused the 4% and have referred the matter to the Industrial Court. Imbert urged both unions to accept the offer and move on. So you're accepting 4% and you're moving on. Al-Rawi said the 5% offer should not be viewed as something that has been imposed on anyone. So Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this. The government raised their salary. Opposition got a salary increase. Pension was increased to thousands of dollars. But public servant workers got 4%. 4%. So while the members of the PNM administration government got thousands of dollars increased, you got 4%. While the opposition leader got thousands, or the opposition got thousands of dollars increased, you all got 4%. And you all settled for that. Al-Rawi said, take it and move on. Well, let's take it and I'll move on. But did you all notice that when pension was increased for the Prime Minister, he got thousands of dollars? Did you all notice that? Or you all can't remember? Seems like we forget. Seems like we forget. So while money is being spent to benefit the ministers, you, the population, have to suck salt, as we would say. Salt. You getting salty? Well, that's where you're sucking until further notice. It tasting salty, your pressure going up? Well, that is what you'll be sucking until further notice. Salt. Nevertheless, viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back from this break, port workers will walk off the job for a second straight day after this.
Become a member of Real Talk Credit Union, now located at number 14 Coroni Savannah Road, Chagonas. Open a fixed deposit with Real Talk Investments and get 4% on interest with interest payment being paid up front. Get in contact with us at 238-6716, 231-6219 or 339-1670. Real Talk Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Plant a seed today for a better tomorrow.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtor Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtor Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Coroni Savannah Road, Chagonas or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
When life throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery. At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back to Real Talk, viewers. Now, viewers, remember we at Real Talk Financing, we are offering you 4% on fixed deposits. We are the only financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago that is giving you an upfront interest payment on your fixed deposit. Only at Real Talk. Remember that, viewers. Now, back to our story. Operation at the Port of Spain was disrupted for a second successful day, I should say. Even though it's a consecutive day, second successful day. Due to industrial action by workers. The action began on Wednesday when workers walked off the job citing concerns about health and safety and outstanding wage negotiation. So have you all noticed recently that PSA have been striking, public servants have been striking for negotiation? Port workers, pilots, who we're going to hear just now, nurses, teachers. Well, police can't strike, fire officers can't strike. Imagine that, eh? In a statement issued, the Port Authority confirmed that no vessel operation were conducted by the minimal deliveries was still facilitated through the container terminal. Despite these challenges, the inter-island seabird service operated by the Trinidad and Tobago Inter-Island Transportation Co. remained unaffected. The Port Authority assured the public that all seabird operations were running smoothly with no disruption to passenger or freight service between Trinidad and Tobago. Seamen and Waterfront Workers Trade Union SWWTU President Michael Anisset confirmed that operations were again affected by the workers' action. He said the port had not reached out to the union officially, but noted he had a conversation with senior managers. In its statement, the Port Authority said it was working to minimize the impact of disruption, but provided no further details on a reason behind the workers' protest or how long the disruption are expected to last. So Trinidad and Tobago wages negotiations have been going on for some time. Pilot strike, port workers strike, but the thing with pilot, listen to this, and I was mentioning in a previous show, the only set of pilot went on strike was the set of pilot that was not working. And I asked the question, those pilots that went to work, are they working for the same thing that the pilots who were not on duty that day? Are you working with a 9 years now and no renewable contract? and you still went to fly? I said unity was something we don't have. The only time we unite for cricket, for football, for carnival, for Christmas, for election, that is the only time Trinidad and Tobago will unite. The Joint Trade Union Movement, JTUM, representing approximately 50,000 members across 11 unions, rejected the government's 5% wage increase proposal for public servant workers announced during Monday's budget presentation. They're rejecting 5, but they took 4. They're rejecting 5, but they took 4. Now let's say something. Say something. Now, JTUM, representing approximately 50,000 members. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, keep this in mind, 50,000 members. If JTUM head, if the head of JTUM, Ansel Roger, decides, you know what? I am representing 50,000 workers in Trinidad and Tobago. And you see property tax? We are not going to pay property tax. If JTUM call a march for 50,000 members to come out, and these 50,000 members comes out, let me tell you something, the government is going to listen to them. But the thing is Ansel Roger doing this? No. No. Your members working for a certain amount of salary in a tax bracket that they cannot cross. Their budget, their monthly expense is going up higher and higher and higher. But the union leaders would not think about keeping a protest for the benefit of their workers. You know what I got to fight for? To stay on the job. You're staying on the job, but at the end of the month, your budget, your salary is almost crossing your expenditure. What you going to do? What representation is that? And I am asking all the leaders in Trinidad and Tobago that leads union, what kind of representation is that? You're working for 5,000 and your expense is 4,000. You're working for 6,000, your expense is 5,000. So it is time now that the leaders of unions come together. You all have a large number of members in Trinidad and Tobago that you all represent. You see, just how you're representing the workers and I say, here what's going on. We're not taking that 5%. And you would want to have a protest somewhere in the savannah. If all the leaders come together, Trinidad and Tobago, and they decide to say, what, you know what, members? Today we're coming out for 2 days or 3 days. Grocery price too high. Not getting proper water in the pipe. TNTech wants to overcharge us. If these heads of union decide to come out, let me tell you something. The 50,000 members will support the heads. But when the head only want to sit down and only want to fight for a job and a job and a job and a position and a position and a position, you ain't reaching nowhere. You ain't reaching nowhere because you're fighting for your workers to stay on a job where their monthly expense very soon is going to cross what they're working for. So what are you representing? What are you representing? And we have some duncy head people here in Trinidad. Common sense they don't have. Call her good night.
Countries must understand that the government has the union, the and the union in the palm of their hand. They call the shots The government call the shots. When the union, it should be the opposite. The union should be calling the shots for the government and have the government crawling when you see they come and implement this property tax to extort money from the citizens. It should be the opposite, but it's not happening. You remember there was a former PSA president that they made her Minister of Labor in 2015. This lady sat down there and said that talk about doubles and Sahina and Colombians.
Correct.
Them. So the union, she was colluded with JTOM, the OWTU president, Sim Ansel Roger, and the lick up Petrotrin because Patrick Manning said Petrotrin is Petrosing, meaning Chapleti Indians. So when you look at that, there was no fairness, there was no justification for that. Just because Patrick Manning said he called Petrotrin Petrosing, they closed it down, and he was part of it. So they sold their soul. And today, I want to hear him defend himself because the Stuart Young is saying that the document that they presented to purchase the refinery was fraudulent. And he claimed that they had $1.something billion transferred, and they have the money. Stuart Young presented in Parliament today that was fraudulent. And I want to hear the opposition talk about, she presented herself, but she's not saying what is the solution. You're talking about, the country, blood flowing all over the country, but tell the citizen what is your solution.
Correct.
Or you're going to change the law.
Well
That
said.
is what we want to hear. Mr. Said, you are doing a better job than the opposition and the trade union in this country. You're doing a better job. Keep up the great talk, Mr. Said. God bless you, man.
Thank you, my friend. So viewers, listen to this now. JTAM President Ansel Roger criticized the government for abandoning collective bargaining and by announcing that the 5% offer for 2020 to 2022 without prior negotiation with recognizing major unions. I'm going to tell you something, the government don't need all you. The government don't need all you. They give all you 4%, all you turn, all you twist, and all you take it. All you take it. Now we're offering all you 5% now, all you say all you taking it. I'm going to tell you something, some clowns. Clowns. 4% and you grab it. Now you're getting 5% and you don't want it. Clowns. Embarrassment of society is what you call it. It's sad, It's sad. He emphasized that union expected to submit research-based proposal to the chief personnel officer before any counter-proposal is made to initiate collective bargain. Roger described the finance minister offer as disrespectful and as disregard for the process, affirming that it would not receive support. He stated that there is no collective bargaining. The process has gone through the door. When I took the 4%, it went through the door. Don't say now going through the door, When you took the 4%, it went through the door. You didn't realize that? All you didn't realize it went through the door when I take it? No, man. Don't be a dancey head, man. Don't be a dancey head, man. From the time you tell the union to take it, all your bargaining went through the door. Common sense was made before books. I always say that. Listen to this.
That we had no opportunity, there's no collective bargaining, the process going through the door. We don't know about anybody standing in the parliament or elsewhere and making a pronouncement, a decree, that what you should get and what you shouldn't get. That we are not part of that process. The process that we are part of, we submit on the basis of our research, a proposal, and that proposal ought to be given respect of those to whom we submitted to, and that is the CPO, in that case, the statutory bodies and the various management in the other cases. And they look at it and they produce a counter proposal, and we begin what is collective bargaining. That is not collective bargaining. Yes? If we support that, that will be the beginning of the end of collective bargaining. So that is why we want to stay away from that. All we can say about that is it is not just contemptuous and disrespectful and so on, and a disregard for the process. The result of that will always be woefully inadequate for those for whom it is intended. Yeah? And that is the case.
So let me tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. We have mouth in this country. We have mouth going and coming. Mouth going and coming. Don't take it. Forest say take it, they grab it, they shut the bargaining door. What do you call that? Clown in action. Clown in action. Port workers strike. Listen to this, JTUM is also supporting Port Authority workers who walked off the job at the port of due to various issues including stall wages negotiation. He also expressed solidarity with the pilots who protested at Piaco International Airport yesterday over wage negotiation. Overdue wage negotiation. So I want to ask now, the union and JTUM. This one man afraid to ask questions on national television, you know. This one man afraid to insult people, you know. You know why? I insulting them with a cause. With a cause. What's that going on raise water rate in the coming months? Union leaders are representing thousands of workers in Trinidad and Tobago. You hear any one of them say they're going to come together and protest the rise of water for their workers? You hear that? No, we are hearing that. You can't even bargain properly for your workers because you're grabbing anything you have. Anything the government gives you, you're grabbing it. They give you 1%, you talk for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you grab it. They shut the bargaining door. You know what is bargaining? Let me tell you what is bargaining. Bargaining is when you give the government a right for their money. Bargaining is when you stand up. You know what, workers? I represent 50,000 workers. Here we're going on. We're going on a 5-day strike. Down tools. Down tools. And you strike. A few days ago, 45,000 workers down tools in 14 ports across the United States. 45,000 workers. 45, you know. Not 4,500, you know. 45,000. 15 ports were shut down in the United States. Here's the reason why I made the statement with the pilots. The pilots that went to work, they went to fly plane. If they decide with their fellow workers and keep a 2-day protest, let me tell you something. Caribbean Airline, the money they would have lost, they would have been glad to sign a contract with pilots very quickly and speedily. You know why? Every day go by that a plane don't leave, they lose money. That is when they're standing up. Port workers walk off. Let me tell you something. One day I do in the port nothing. You see 2 days and 3 days and 4 days and 5 days, they're losing money. That is what we call a protest. In Trinidad here, let me tell you something. We don't protest, you know. We just get together to sing and clap and then go to work the next day. That is what we do in Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm afraid to say it. To the union leaders, let me tell you something. Look at suck salt. I tell you all of that. I'll let grab 4%. But now you're telling your workers and the government, we are taking 5%? Who are you trying to fool? Who are you trying to fool? Come now, man. All come better than that now, man. For big, big hardback man who representing people. All come better than that. Call a good night.
Good night, Saieed, and to the listeners. I want people to remind people, what are the first things the original vaccine vagrant, KCR, did with the union? You remember there was a 15 million handout? We don't know who gets it, who benefits from it. But KCR's main objective is to kill the unions in Trinidad. And let me tell you why. You see that refinery? You want to hand it over for the 1%, and the 1% doesn't want no union. You check out the 1%, all the big conglomerates and things like that, if they have any unionized workers. He's dealing with it to give it to them. He run down Petrosin so he can get them in at a fire sale next to nothing, because he will benefit from our O'Halloran arrangement at 10%, he, friends and the family. But more importantly, I forget, sorry about that. I want to extend my condolences to the used car dealer.
Oh, yes.
Which they had already found the body. Really, I feel sad for that mother, that uncle, that thing. But you know who I want to go after? The TTPS. You know, they had a day of policing, right? Why did they not use the same protocol to search for the man? Remember, they bring out everybody in the police service, 6 divisions, they block out all the people. They say they was basically doing that because they shoot a policeman. So you know what people they arrest the day for that day of policing? They arrest one person, probably they stop about 5 people. That's all they
So,
did.
caller, let me ask you a question. As we are on national television, condolences to the family of the used car dealer. Good?
Right.
We all understand that. Normally, when police hold an individual, and hold on. When police officers hold an individual, when they arrest them, and that picture will be all over social media. And
I committed that.
Hold on. We chatting. When police officers hold an individual, and that individual picture, there's be all over social media, television, press. Am I correct?
You are correct.
All right, good.
All right.
Police officers held 3 individuals for the alleged kidnapping of the car dealer. How the hell these pictures now not released into the public domain?
All right.
They found the body of the car dealer. They say he was murdered. How the hell in God's name that these 3 individual pictures ain't released in the damn public domain?
All right. Listen to this. You remember the PCA chairman, the TTPS is the biggest gang? You remember KCR said, the Cosa Nostra, and we will keep all the secrets together? What that tells you?
I understand what you're saying.
The
So
police
now,
did it like that.
now it is said in the public domain that these 3 individuals who are in custody are police officers. Am I correct?
Yeah, they have
Good. So
they
now,
have the numbers and things circulating all over the place.
good. So now, the Commissioner of Police, the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security wants the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago to have confidence in the police force. But these 3 individual pictures ain't released in the public domain. Who is responsible for that?
The leadership of the country, and let me tell you where it started. You see, the day of policing, the JSC report, and that tells you those police who was part and parcel of the conspiracy, when they were before the JSC, they zipped them out.
Yes.
They hold the secrets of the people who did the wrong thing. And that was tantamount to me to be treasonous, you know, because the GEB, the special branch, the leadership of all of those, and you know what they did? They catapult all of those alleged conspirators to the leadership of the police. Earlier, Christopher was in charge of the special branch. Jonah, she was in charge of something in Tobago. They didn't know. When they tell them stand down, instead of they go over the wireless, they didn't go. They drive their car and they take 3 hours to reach. So
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. So Trinidad and Tobago, we live, I must say, in a partially one-sided society. One-sided. So let me just talk a little bit on the murder of the car dealer. So these 3 individuals, why is their picture not in the public domain like anybody else? Is it because they are alleged police officer? Stinking sad on the commissioner's behalf. It's stinking sad. As soon as they catch a bandit in Trinidad and Tobago, or an alleged suspect, there is released a picture. As long as CDPS hold them, whether you could be a suspect or the alleged suspect, they're releasing your picture. They're releasing your picture. So why the hell these 3 individual pictures now cannot be released in the public domain? Why? Because the lawyer says so? Don't make joke. Because the sergeant says so? Because the corporal says so? Because the dam inspector says so? Let me tell you something. A young man was murdered. A businessman was murdered. A member of society was murdered. And these 3 individual pictures have not been released in the public domain. Why? Are they protecting these 3 individuals? I don't care what the commissioner say, you know. I don't. I don't care what the Minister of National Security come out and say. I don't care what the inspectors and the sergeants and the corporal have to say. Release their pictures in the public domain just like anybody else being held by TDPS. Just like anybody else. Caller, good night.
Saeed, good night. Saeed, he and I, if I was closer, I hug you. Because when they hold these little black boys,
correct,
they plaster in their name, their address, their
everything.
Picture. Man, if you get them a chance, the children both paper, their passport, everything. Right? But look what they're doing. Look what they're doing in the public view. That's to tell you they don't even fear their superiors. They don't even fear the commissioner of police. They have no respect for the service. They have no respect for that uniform they're wearing.
Correct.
They are not protecting and serving. So when these little fellas get hold, they're locking them up, they're throwing them in jail, treating them like little dogs. Who they working for? Hello? Who they working for? Not themselves. Right? But they're paying the penalty because they are the little scapegoats. Right? And this is the crap. Or they have an ex-commissioner of police who never do nothing for this country, drawing $800 an hour.
Correct.
To sit down and talk to her.
Correct.
No, we don't want that. Come out, pull all your tail out of them air condition and fight the crime and get rid of the rogue elements inside here and have national security under proper guidance. So this country could be better than it is. Sorry, this country has no better to get because the problem is at the head of the fish, and trust me, this is the end of it. Thank you plenty. Good night.
You're welcome, my dear. So Trinidad and Tobago, right now everybody wants to know who are the individuals that are being locked up. Who are the individuals that are being locked up? Why haven't the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service released their picture? Just like how they just release anybody picture. And they call them a criminal. How come? Who is protecting who? Or is it that they're afraid to be embarrassed? Because I saw these same alleged police officers on them If they catch somebody, they're going to release a picture in the public domain. John Doe of John Doe Street, John Doe House, John Doe number. There's the picture. But today, their pictures cannot be released. Biasness in our country. That is what you call biasness. That's what you call stinkness. I'll come now, man. I'll talk to you, man. Call her good night.
Hi, Mr. Saeed.
Go right ahead. You're live on national television.
Yes, good night. I must congratulate you for the awesome job that you are doing.
Thank you.
I agree with you 1,000% of everything that you are saying, sir. You are so absolutely right in everything that you are saying. Everything is a wire in this country. And everything is like everybody blind. They're not understanding. They're pretending they're not seeing. I don't know. May God bless you, sir, for the awesome stand that you're standing to fight for the people that, like we, sir, who don't have a voice. And we wish one day that you can be some kind of a political leader in some way or the other, because this is what we're looking for in this country. You understand? And it is such, why it is a hiding these street policemen faces of this thing when they want to sit up in. Put their faces that the public see it.
Correct.
And they understand this high level of racket taking place in this country. All right? Thank you, sir. Lots of listening.
Thank you, my friend. You know, I will ask this question publicly without apologizing. Who is the officer that gave instructions not to release these men's photos? Who is the officer responsible? But I am definitely sure if that officer holds a black man in Trinidad and Tobago, I go pause right there. You know why I say black? Because this Trinidad is not a white man country. Every single baby, every single human being in Trinidad and Tobago is a black man. I am an Indian, and if you want to call me racial, I'll let go ahead. But I want to know who is the officer that gave the order to prevent these three persons here from going in the public domain. Is it shame? Is it shame for the officers? Is it shame for TTPS? Is it shame for the servers? Is it shame for the family? Or is it that these officers have children and they're shame? But it was my pitié. Watch man, all over the world you don't see Saeed pitié already. Did that officer? Let me tell you something. You stink. You stink and you're dirty. I tell you that on national television. You supposed to be the first one to say, you know what? Kidnapping of the businessman, boom shot, money paid, boom shot, the man come and dead, DZ pitié, all in custody, plaster the pitié. Plaster the pitié, let them know that three reckless, alleged police officers did this. Because when all you hold a suspect, all you ain't sure if that is the suspect until the magistrate say they're guilty. Oh, you can't come around me, you know. Take what I'm telling all you. Well, you can't come around me with this kind of nonsense, you know. Call a good night.
Very, very good evening to you, Mr. Saeed.
To you, my friend.
The Commissioner, the Minister of National Security, and all in high office continue saying we should partner and we must partner with the police.
How we partner when things like this happening?
What? I am not partnering with criminals. I refuse to partner with the criminals. And if the faces should be published, they should go to prison and something waiting for them in prison. But what I want to say also quickly is that on social media, there is people appearing with guns and large sums of Trinidad and Tobago currency.
Correct.
If you go to the bank, why go to the bank with anything over 10,000? I have to fill out a source of income and
yes,
a declaration form and a whole set.
Correct.
So I would like the police to find these people and let these people kindly tell the police how they come about all this cash. All the best. Have a great evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend. So Trinidad and Tobago, as he talk about this, but just highlight a little issue that happening. There's a video on social media circulating with a guy with some big old chain and some stack of TNT dollars. Yeah? Listen to this. we have in Trinidad and Tobago an intelligence service with modern day equipment. They could have tracked Clongenberg's cell phone and take half of the police force and go down and get the phone, but they can't track a video. Excuse me. Want to tell me about security? I am Real Talk Group of Company has a company in it that does security and intelligence. So when I come here and I tell her X, Y, and Z under a security-based platform, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Trust me, I know what I am talking about. But nevertheless, the photos of these individuals should be circulated in social media, on television, and on the press. And the Commissioner of Police should be far and foremost, as we should say, if it is true that they are alleged police officers, as word on the ground is saying, well then the Commissioner of Police is supposed to be the first one to come out and say, release the photo. Just like anybody else, release the photo. So is it a bias thing that is taking place? Is it? Well, if they cannot release the photos, why is it that when they do catch a bandit, why is it that they release their photos? Let me play hardball game now. Let me play a little ball game now. If those photos cannot be released into the public domain, why the hell is CGPS releasing bandit photos? Well, let's say something to DPS. Say something. Any officer want to call in and say something? Because fear is fear, you know. Fear is fear. Fear cannot be unfair. It don't work one side. A 25 cents has both sides. It have the number side and it have the bird side. Same thing with the paper dollar. It have a left and a right. It have a front and a back. It's sad, eh? It's sad that nobody had asked, where are the photos of these individuals? Am I the only one who have to come out and ask for the correcting? Am I? Or is it that they are afraid to release their photos? This is a shameful act on behalf of TTPS. Because as they catch a bandit, TTPS releasing the photo. So the whole of the entire world could see, hey, John Doe is a bandit. But they don't want to see this three individual. It's stinking sad. And that is a disgrace. Right there. It is a disgrace. They're one-sided. They're biased. But we would hear ministers coming out and saying, we need to join TTPS. We need to work with them for information. Wow. What information now should be shared now about these three individuals? You see how biased our country is? You see how biased? Citizens must join together at TTPS. But if an alleged officer does something, we don't know where John Doe from. We don't know who John Doe is. We don't know how old John Doe is. We don't know what John Doe looks like. Am I the only one seeing this in Trinidad and Tobago? Am I the only one? Because I do keep track of crime in Trinidad and Tobago. I do keep track of people who TTPS holds and release their photos. I do keep track of it. But one thing I am not seeing is these 3 individuals' photos circulating in the public domain. So to the sergeant in the station, what you gonna do? Now your buddies and them, you want to release a photo? It's sad. Good thing it's not your son. To the inspector, to the assistant superintendent, to the man in charge of the division, that your buddies, I don't want to release a bit yet. Good thing it's not all your son, they found murdered. Good thing, otherwise what the hell would I do? Allah come now man, don't play idiots. Don't play idiots for Trinidad and Tobago citizens. Don't be an idiot for me. Because I will embarrass all on national television without apologizing. It's stinking sad. And it biased that these photos are not in the public domain. I don't care about magistrate. I don't care about law. Thank God is not one of them son, you know. They should be thanking God that is not their son. But that we partner, we can't release a photo. Really? Your same partner should have come after your son. Let me see what you do. That is why when I come on television and I level from a side. Because a criminal incident could happen to any one of us. My son was almost kidnapped. Thank God. Thank God he's alive. Thank God I could do a little jingle walk. Thank God I could do a little jingle walk. 3 of them blind and 1 dead. What deal with them? Is the spirit of jingle that deal with them. That's what I tell all the Trinidad and Tobago citizens. I'm going to tell you something. I am a very straightforward man. I spent 18 years building a name. Not only in Trinidad and Tobago, you know, outside of Trinidad and Tobago. Because before I reached on television, doing spirit work, I was meeting ministers outside Trinidad and Tobago. Outside of Trinidad and Tobago. So let this car come around me with cock and bull story. But I'm waiting. I'm a little under the weather, a sore throat and thing, but nevertheless, the writing is the writing. And I want these inspectors in the station to understand. I want the superintendent to understand. I want the corporal to understand. If that is all about, is all well and good. But think about if your buddies, your friends, your paliwal did come after your son, what you would do? Ask yourself that. You don't want to kill them by yourself. You don't want to carry them in some back road and you know what? I'll run. Now your buddies. So viewers, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, our run of this program is Monday coming from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. and we'll be right back here Monday for a live round of Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Until then, be safe and enjoy.